All right, so now that we understand a bit about templates, let's dive in and get a Django project set up. And in this section, we're going to be building a favorite movies app so you can keep track of your favorite movies that you've watched. And we're going to start with setting up a new Django project. So this may be a little bit repetitive, but hopefully you'll have a good grasp of how to get Django projects up and running, and you'll be able to do this without even looking up any documentation or anything like that. So first things first, create an empty directory and open it in your editor of choice. I have VS Code here, and also open it up in a terminal. And the first thing we're going to want to do is create a virtual environment and activate it. So in that empty directory in that terminal, type python-m venv, and then the name of the virtual environment, we'll call it env. Awesome, so now that virtual environment is created, but we need to activate it. So we say source env scripts activate. Perfect, and we see that little env text here to know that it's activated. And now we can start installing packages, and they'll all be housed within this environment folder, this virtual environment. So the first thing we want to do is install Django. So pip install Django. Perfect, so now Django is installed. We can get a project set up. So we can go Django-admin start project, all one word. The name of the project, we'll call it config, and then a period, so it's just created in this folder right here. Awesome, and now we see we have this config folder with some of those initial files that each project has. And we're making a favorite movies app, so we want to go ahead and make an app for movies. So we can say python manage.py start app, then the name of the app, and we'll call it movies. And now we have our movies folder right here with those app base files. We can see we have the views, the models, and we have to remember whenever we create a new app, we want to add it into our settings.py in our project. So we'll come over here to config settings.py, move this down a little bit, and come down to installed apps and add onto this list. And we can just make a little note, this is local apps, and say movies. And this lets Django know to look within this movies folder, within this movies app. And then before we do anything, let's just get a basic URL and view setup just to make sure everything is working correctly. So let's go into movies, views. We can minimize this terminal. We can create a test view here and just say def index takes in the request. And then we can just return again an HTTP response, like so. And we can import it up here from shortcuts. And then we can pass in a string and just say my fave movies. And this needs to be response, and save that. So now we have this test view set up. Let's just hook it up with a URL in the project urls.py. So we can import from movies.views import index, like so. And then we can add another path. So we can shift alt down arrow to just duplicate that line. And we can give this the path an empty route, so it'll just be mysite.com/. And then we want to specify the view, so we'll say index. Perfect. So now we should have a path at the empty route that will run the index function from movies.views, which should return an HTTP response, so it should just show some text that says my favorite movies. Let's go ahead and make sure everything is saved. Open up the terminal and run the server, python manage.py, run server. Then let's open this up in a browser. And beautiful, my fave movies. So now we have a basic Django project and app set up. The next thing we're going to do is actually start to create a template, and we'll dive into that in the next video.